And welcome to Wrestling Gold. From hours and hours of archival footage, we've selected a group of special matches that we know you're going to enjoy. So let's get down to ringside to our guest commentators, Dave Meltzer and Jim Cornette.
Okay, the first match is going to have the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, taking on Randy Savage and his brother, Lanny Poffo.
Well, in this match, you're going to have two teams that like to use a fast break offense. Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, of course, the Rock and Roll Express, very tag team oriented, but Randy Savage and Lanny Poffo are brothers. So in this one, anything could happen, and speed will tell the tale.
Rick Morton, native of the state of Tennessee, he's from Nashville, started his wrestling career right here in Memphis. Look at that spectacular entrance of Leaping Lanny. The Poffo family, symbolic of a whole family of tough athletes. Let me tell you something for a flat-out fact. These people, look at Lanny. And a fine move there. Savage comes back in. Watch out for the rock and roll. We're enjoying it. Yes, sir. Savage. After one of the crowds. The referee starts the count. Here comes Lanny back into the ring. And Angelo trying to quiet the crowd down. They're 100% behind Rick and Robert. Angelo Poffo complaining about something. What? I don't know. Look at this. Look at this. Going to work on the knee or the leg of Lanny. The leg from the top rope. Use the rope as leverage, and look at those moves. They go after Randy. Mixing both of them. Angelo better watch out or he'll be put down. Randy Savage leaps into the ring. Robert Gibson. Angelo comes around, going to distract Rick Morton. Morton will go after him, I am certain. Yes, sir. Sends him down. Angelo Poffo does his job, distract anybody around. Oh my goodness. Look at Lanny go after Robert, but Robert gets out of the way. Here comes Morton. Ricky goes after Randy Savage, puts Leaping Lanny down. Savage is reversed out of the ring. Look out. Angelo sends him in and kicking him at the 6.5-minute mark. The Savage and Poffos getting vicious. They are getting vicious. Oh, big right hand to Morton. Fires him back in the ring. Into the turnbuckles. Oh! Morton hits hard. A boot to the top of the head. Drops down on the back of Morton. Rick taking a tremendous amount of punishment. Elbow. Savage snaps him down. could badly cut. A tremendous cut on the head of Rick Morton. But Rick, we remember a tremendous amount of fight. He's caught by Savage in the corner. Rick with the right hand, but Leaping Lanny with the boot to the midsection. To the turnbuckle and a tag on Savage. Lanny holding the tights as Randy Savage hurls him out. Oh, this is just move by Savage. Oh my goodness. Morton picked up, back in the ring, trying to get the tag. Missed it, and a tag on Savage's brother, Lanny Poffo. Here comes Angelo.
Going to lead to a beautiful victory. It's started.
Angelo Poffo with his brand of commentating. Lanny, Rick Morton moves. Good move on Rick Morton. He made the tag. Yes, sir. Goes after Lanny, puts down Savage. Right hand to the head. Puts Savage down. Fires him in. Ducks him over. Oh! And a disqualification. Disqualification, 9 minutes of time as the win goes to the Rock and Roll. A disqualification. Look out, Savage is caught as they tried to power drive Robert Gibson on the concrete floor. Now the ball's right out as we back up right on the table. Savage has him on the table. What is he doing? He's trying to power drive him on the table. He's trying to power drive him on our announcer's desk. Oh my God! Oh my gosh, he broke the table. Rick Morton, as we need some help. Savage, come on, Randy. Randy, this is ridiculous. Right on the, ring the bell. Let's get this stopped here. I've never seen anything like that. They power drive Morton on the table, broke the table, now trying to do it again. They run their heads. Get them out of here, Robert. Oh my goodness. Worried about Rick Morton. Morton power drive on the table. Mr. Coffey, some help from him.
We're going to a wrestler who both of these men had numerous famous matches with in the early 1980s. AWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Bockwinkel as he went to San Antonio, Texas to take on Manny Fernandez.
Well, Nick Bockwinkel was the AWA World Heavyweight Champion, and Manny Fernandez had everything to gain and nothing to lose. If he could beat Nick Bockwinkel on television, it would propel him to superstardom. If he couldn't beat Bockwinkel on television, then once again the AWA Champion would have emerged victorious over another local champion.
Fernandez tries again against World Champion Nick Bockwinkel. Bockwinkel immediately started grabbing. Manny Fernandez, a world-class athlete himself, let me assure you of every second of that, going against the reigning heavyweight champion, Nick Bockwinkel. Bockwinkel grousing he didn't sign to fight this man. Well, let's check out your standards here, Nicholas. As you go against Manny Fernandez. No light show for anybody. Bockwinkel in the ring. He is the world champion. I mean, hey, man, right about that. But you can see his hesitation to wrestle Manny Fernandez. Big, crushing side headlock. Fernandez on Bockwinkel. And it continues. Whoa! Hip toss and a big, full body slam. And thank you. I'll return that favor, Brother Bockwinkel. Hip toss. Main event in anybody's arena. Bockwinkel and Fernandez. Into ring. Side headlock. Manny Fernandez on the world's champion, Nick Bockwinkel. He stands him up. Bockwinkel using the trunks. Oh, going to hip toss. Did that backfire? 1, 2. Bockwinkel barely flails out. Nick, I see you're concerned about wrestling Brother Fernandez now. He was about as startled as anybody I've ever seen when he turned over his shoulder expecting to find young Terry Allen, who's an excellent wrestler in his own right. But he did not expect to see world-class Manny Fernandez standing there in his shoes. Side headlock. Fernandez on Bockwinkel. We'll see Ken Patera tonight before this night is over, too. I'll tell you, that's kind of an interesting story. 1, 2, and he managed to get out. Ken Patera could be the world's strongest man. I'll tell you right now, at least in the wrestling profession. And Patera was actually, the word I get, back rooms and sticking my ear through cracks to wall, one thing and another, is that Patera was imported by Buck Rowley to give a little assistance to himself and Tank Patton and a few others of such bent. Meanwhile, Tiger Conway Jr. got tired of all that business, being ganged up on constantly over the rules broken and bent. And thus comes to town, the plot does thicken considerably, because thus comes to town Big Bruiser Brody. And boy, when he comes to town, everybody knows it. I think you'll have to agree to that. Manny into the ropes. Bockwinkel catches him. Big, hard fist of the world champion into the stomach of Manny Fernandez. Uses the wrestling shoe on him. And again, Bockwinkel slings him into the ropes, catches him with a knee. Manny Fernandez undergoing a tremendous amount of punishment right now at the hands of Bockwinkel, who is a past master at handing out punishment. Into the ropes. Catches him again with a knee. Juan Reynoso, third man in the ring, as Bockwinkel continues to work on Fernandez. Body, no, sidebreaker. Fernandez now going for the kill. No, Bockwinkel for the kill, too. And Fernandez bridges out. Southwest Championship Wrestling. I'm convinced best wrestling in the whole world. And available to every week, wherever you are in this country. There's Fernandez's head just got split open on the turnbuckle. Knee to the rib cage, another knee to the chest bone. Right where everything comes together in the chest. Bockwinkel does know how to punish you. Bockwinkel, one more time. Hair of the head and arm sling. Oh, big Barrett. Backbreaker. A backbreaker. Bockwinkel on Fernandez. Reynoso checking with Fernandez. Oh, slammed him. Guarantee you, looks like somebody's sticking out. Up a con on each chair with a tack hammer. Bockwinkel working on the head bone of Manny Fernandez. Fernandez, the next champ himself. And I guarantee you, he's had his head beat on before, and he'd like to do some of that himself. He said, "That's so much fun, Nicky. Here, help yourself. Enjoy that one." Stand-up double off the head of Nick Bockwinkel. Fernandez bleeding profusely. Bockwinkel at this point falls like a felled oak. Fernandez drives him under the mat. Turns him over for the kill. 1, 2. Bockwinkel gets out. Fernandez going to suplex him for all the world, and here it comes. Big, full body suplex. Fernandez on Bockwinkel, getting himself some of that action. 10-minute time of a match with Bockwinkel and Manny Fernandez getting with it. Just one of several outstanding matches tonight here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. Fernandez across the ring with Bockwinkel. Lays him out again. One more time. 1, 2. Bockwinkel flails out. Again, Ken Patera here coming up this evening. He's a strong one. Whether you like him or not, his suplexes him outside in. Bockwinkel at the mercy at the moment. There's the sleeper. Fernandez on Bockwinkel. Bockwinkel fighting. He's fighting. Fernandez with the arms this man has on him. I guarantee you the former Florida State champ can put you nighty-night. Should have wore your jammies with a little fuzzy ducks on them. Are you kidding me? Fernandez with a sleeper hold on Bockwinkel. Time caught him. Time caught him. I got to tell you, another 30 seconds, minute at the most, and Manny Fernandez would have defeated the world's heavyweight champion. You saw it for yourself. He had him in his clutches. I mean, Bockwinkel was doing everything but putting his 90 on. And the bell caught him. 30 seconds, 45 at the most. And Manny would have defeated the world's champion.
Go from the technical wrestling of Nick Bockwinkel and Manny Fernandez, and now we're going to go to a horse of a totally different color, the Sheik in Detroit, where he was known for bloody brawls for most of the 60s and the 70s.
Well, the Sheik was one of the most feared and hated villains in all of professional wrestling for a period of almost 30 years. Mark Lewin, at this point in time, was probably the only hope that the fans had that the evil Sheik, the wild man from Syria, would be defeated. We'll take a look at this match and find out if the fans got what they want.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A one-fall, 60-minute time limit for the United States Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. In this event, the loser must leave town. In this event, the loser must leave. Introducing first, the challenger.
You gotta leave this Motor City. You gotta go. Tonight, you must go.
Introducing first, the challenger. From Syria, weighing in at 242 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, the former United States Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, the Sheik. From New York City, weighing 253 pounds, the United States Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, Mark Lewin.
Mark Lewin has turned his back on the Sheik before. He will not turn his back on the Sheik tonight. He knows well not to turn his back on the man from Syria. The Sheik now moving around the ring very cautiously. Into the referee hole, both men viciously going at one another. Into the referee hole now. Mark Lewin backs the Sheik onto the ropes. The Sheik grabs on, bear hug style. Mark Lewin holding on to the ropes. The Sheik spins Mark Lewin around, drives one in his midsection. Mark Lewin grabs the headlock and drives one to the head of the Sheik. The Sheik back into the corner. His back to the turnbuckle, looking up as though he were getting a message from on high. Mark Lewin checking with the referee. Into the referee hold, Mark Lewin backs the Sheik into the corner. Bear hug by the Sheik. He reverses the situation. Puts Lewin in the corner. The Sheik draws back and drives one to the midsection of Mark Lewin. And another. The Sheik in a vicious move to choke. The Sheik biting into the head of Lewin. Choking away. The referee calling for the break. The Sheik steps back. Lewin down, hanging onto the top rope. Down on his hands and knees. The Sheik into a vicious chokehold. The Sheik reaches into his boot, grabs an object, and drives it to the throat of Lewin. Lewin, who's trying to shake it off, who's staggered back. Lewin clenches the fist now and moves in on the Sheik. The referee not interfering here. This is a championship bout. There's a lot at stake here for both men. Lewin drives a fist into the head of the Sheik. And again, Lewin, following the Sheik. Creechman reaches in and grabs the boot of Lewin. And the Sheik drives that object into his head. Not once, but twice. The Sheik driving that object into the head of Mark Lewin. Mark Lewin goes down. He's to his feet now, and the Sheik again drives that object into his head. The Sheik driving that thing into Mark Lewin's head repeatedly. He's opened up Lewin's head. Creechman, the manager of the Sheik, it was Creechman who reached in and grabbed the boot of Lewin, tripped him over, kept him from moving. And in the meantime, the Sheik has been devastating Lewin almost at will. The wild man from Syria in a bad mood. You could tell when he came into this bout tonight that this one was going to go all the way. This one was going to go all the way from beginning to end. The Sheik now steps back. Mark Lewin being inspected by the referee. Eddie Creechman on the outside grabs the trunks of Lewin. The Sheik moves in. And he drives that object into the head of Lewin. Lewin, in terrific pain now, is on the outside of the ring. The Sheik being inspected by the referee as Lewin walks around the outside of the ring. At stake here, the United States Heavyweight Championship crown. Mark Lewin, his head opened up, is outside the ring, standing amongst the fans. Mark Lewin now slowly making his way toward the ring. The Sheik waiting on the inside. Here comes Lewin up on the apron. Then the Sheik hammers him one. And down on the table, half in and half out of the ring on the apron, is Mark Lewin being devastated by the wild man from Syria, the Sheik. Mark Lewin now calling to the people. The Sheik in the ring, Lewin stumbling through the fans on the outside of the ring. Mark Lewin in agony and pain has been devastated by the wild man from Syria. Remember, this is for the championship. The count is in. Mark Lewin is out amongst the fans. The count has stopped. The Sheik interfered. The count has stopped. The count is in again. Here comes Lewin, approaching the ring very slowly, very cautiously. The Sheik waiting for him. The Sheik waiting for him. Lewin trying to get back into the ring. The Sheik has prevented him from getting inside the squared circle. Mark Lewin on the outside gets kicked by Eddie Creechman, the maniacal manager of the Sheik. Now the Sheik with a vicious look on his face is waiting for Mark Lewin to come back through those ropes, hanging in the balance here tonight. The United States Heavyweight Championship belt. It's been a rough and rugged bout so far. The outcome nobody can guess, as both men have come here tonight to battle one another toe-to-toe. Mark Lewin in a daze now, walking outside the ring, and the referee is into the count. The count will continue unless the Sheik refuses to take his corner. The count is in. Now, Creechman is on the apron of the ring. The count is stopped. Creechman complaining to the referee, and the referee telling Creechman to get his man to his corner. Mark Lewin determined now, slowly walks up to the ring. Creechman. Mark Lewin has the leg, the Sheik has the arm of Creechman, and they're pulling him like a piece of raw meat. Mark Lewin has the object. The Sheik has dropped the object. The Sheik has dropped that object. Mark Lewin pounding away on the head of the Sheik now with that object. Repeatedly driving it into the head of the Sheik. Not once, not twice, but a dozen times, maybe 2 dozen times. Mark Lewin pounding and pounding and pounding on the Sheik's head. Now with both hands, he brings that object down into the head of the Sheik. Mark Lewin pounding away here, trying to hang on to something that is precious to him, the United States Heavyweight Championship belt. This is a loser leave town situation. The loser of this bout must leave town. loser must leave town. And the winner, it remains to be the United States Heavyweight Championship. The count is in to 2. Almost 3, but 2 is all it went. Lewin, feeling victory very close at hand, turns around now and hammers away again on the Sheik. Both men collide. Both men are down. The count is in. The count is in. Both men are down. Who's going to get up first here may determine the championship. Lewin is up first. He covers the Sheik. Kriegsman throws him off. Kriegsman interferes. He's warned by the referee. Eddie Kriegsman came in. Lewin on his feet now, being warned by the referee about the use of the object in his hand. Lewin seeing it as an eye for an eye, a fair situation. If he can do it, why can't I? And again, Lewin pounds away in a small of the back now, the Sheik. Lewin pounding at will on the wild man from Syria. The Sheik goes down. Mark Lewin covers him for the pin. Here comes Kriegsman. Kriegsman chased out of the ring. The Sheik very slowly gets to his feet, drives one to the midsection of Mark Lewin. Lewin is the champion, the Sheik the challenger, the former champion, wants that title. And he's fighting with everything he's got to get that title away from Mark Lewin. Mark Lewin now half in, half out of the ring. Mark Lewin grabs, he has dropped the object. The Sheik has it back. The Sheik grabbing Lewin now, putting that object in his throat. Lewin literally fighting for his life here with the wild man from Syria. The referee grabbed the arm of the Sheik. The Sheik dropped the object. The Sheik dropped the object. The referee is throwing it out of the ring. Mark Lewin pounding away on the Sheik. The Sheik dangling off the ropes now, drops to one knee. Double chopping the Sheik. The Sheik falling to the second rope. Now Lewin throws the Sheik on the rope. Sleeper hold. Lewin has the sleeper hold on the Sheik. Here comes Eddie Kriegsman. He's trying to get Mark Lewin from throwing the sleeper hold. The referee went down. A ball of fire into the face of Mark Lewin. Kriegsman got in the way too. I think Kriegsman got the fire. I think Eddie Kriegsman got the fire. I think Eddie Kriegsman got the fire. Mark Lewin got the fire thrown in his face. Mark Lewin had the sleeper on the Sheik. Eddie Kriegsman came in to try to break it up. Mark Lewin pushed Eddie Kriegsman into the referee. The referee went down. Lewin's on the floor. The Sheik threw that fire. He hit Lewin and he got Kriegsman too. Kriegsman's been burned with the fire. Mark Lewin's been burned with the fire.
Ladies and gentlemen, 8 minutes, 35 seconds, the winner and new United States Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, the Sheik.
The Sheik is the champion. The Sheik has won his title. The referee did not see the fire. The referee was knocked down, but when the Sheik threw the fire, he burned not only Lewin, but Kriegsman too. And then Lewin was outside of the ring. When the referee came around, Lewin was laying outside the ring. Lewin was counted out of the ring. The Sheik has been awarded the title. Chuck Allen, come here. I want to get it officially. Chuck, what was the word from the referee? What's the official ruling? The Sheik is the champion, is that right?
The Sheik is the champion, yes. Mark Lewin was counted out of the ring. That's the official decision by the referee.
He couldn't make it back in.
We've just seen the man who popularized the use of fire in pro wrestling, the Sheik, and now we're going to go to a very early match in the career of the Von Erich brothers, Kerry and David Von Erich, both in their early 20s, as they wrestle against Gene Yates and Killer Carl Krupp.
Well, Killer Carl Krupp, a veteran, Gene Yates, a journeyman wrestler. However, you'll see early in the career of both the Von Erich boys, while they had yet to fill out physically and with maturity as far as their wrestling game went, they were still excellent athletes straight out of college and would be forces to be reckoned with.
A big tag team match as it's Kerry and David Von Erich against Killer Carl Krupp and Gene Yates. Kerry another member of the Von Erich clan, as he goes behind and rolls Carl Krupp up right off the bat. Kerry, one of the best discus throwers in the state, a youngster, as Carl Krupp out of the ring immediately. Kerry Von Erich, another one of Fritz Von Erich's sons, look at the physique on that one. As he dives in for a leg dive on killer Carl Krupp. As killer Carl Krupp tries to set out and switch, but Kerry Von Erich is right on top of him. As Kerry, David, and Kevin are at ringside as Kerry Von Erich on killer Carl Krupp. And an arm drag by Krupp. Takes Kerry over to the mat. Kerry immediately bridging up. Kerry Von Erich, a name to be reckoned with, a newcomer here to Southwest Championship Wrestling. And a beautiful move by Kerry Von Erich as he plows right on top of the veteran Krupp, the German strongman and master of the claw hold. Remember, next week right here on television, you will see Tully Blanchard, the Southwest Television Champion. We'll also have a videotape match. We're trying to get some tapes on the great Ricky Romero, and we have him against then World's Champion Jack Briscoe as Krupp goes to work on Kerry Von Erich, crashing him into the mat. As Krupp tags brother David, or Kerry tags brother David. David Von Erich, more experienced, a long, lean former football All-Stater, beals Krupp across the ring, and a drop kick. Fells Krupp, and Gene Yates is in there. Kevin in their corner, three of the Von Erich clan, and there's the tag as Kerry is up high with that elbow. As Krupp's in there, David Von Erich's in there. Gene Yates. And an arm drag off the ropes by Kerry Von Erich.
Hey, ball-headed goose, stay out.
As Gene Yates' blood. Boy, this is a struggle, I'll tell you. Young Kerry Von Erich, a fine young athlete, trying to shove Gene Yates over in the corner. There's a tag, and it's David Von Erich in. And a drop kick off those ropes as Big Long, and another drop kick takes Gene Yates to the mat. as David goes to win. And Kerry, a melee of action. 6 minutes gone, 6 minutes gone. 9 minutes to go in the match. It's David in there. Gene Yates for his team. And he steamrolls him with a tackle off those ropes and a hip block. And a kickoff. There's a tag, and it's...
Tag over the rope. They got a tag over the rope. Yeah, over the rope. 3, 4, 5, let me go.
There's the tag. And it's Carl Krupp, and he comes in at an advantage to use those big boots. As Carl Krupp goes to work on David Von Erich, the big rugged German star, master of the Iron Claw, brass knucks champion. There's the tag, and it's Gene Yates back in for his team. As Kerry Von Erich's in. There's a clubbing blow by Carl Krupp as he decks David Von Erich. And the claw holds put on by killer Carl Krupp, a master of the claw.
Get in there, get in there, get in there.
And this could be the end of it. As Carl Krupp, when he applies the claw, and out in the middle of the ring, on David Von Erich. There's Kerry Von Erich in. As he gets over and makes the tag, it's Kerry breaking. And the stomach claw applied by Carl Krupp. He applies that claw from every angle. Rugged, tough veteran of many professional wrestling matches as he has Kerry Von Erich down to the mat. Young Kerry Von Erich feeling the force of the claw hold that his father made famous. As Kerry comes up, there's a tag. As Gene Yates comes in and bombs Kerry Von Erich. Kerry comes up with a drop kick that he almost hits with the knees. Boy, he got him with knees and feet and everything that time. And it's David in. And he goes to work on Gene Yates. 10 minutes gone. And there's the sleeper applied by David Von Erich on Gene Yates. David Von Erich comes right in, slaps that sleeper. Beautiful move there by David Von Erich. And there's a 3 count, as Krupp gets a claw hold on, and there's David Von Erich with a sleeper on Carl Krupp. The match is over, however. the Von Erich brothers declared the winner.
Now we go to Memphis, Tennessee with the most popular tag team ever to work in that part of the country, the Fabulous Ones, Stan Lane and Steve Keirn, as they take on the PYTs, which were Koko Beware, before he was Koko Beware, and Norvell Austin.
Well, the Fabulous Ones, the first subjects of MTV-style music videos. They had a tremendous fan following. But the PYTs, the Pretty Young Things, Koko Ware and Norvell Austin, attempted to stop that following in this match in the Memphis Mid-South Coliseum.
Koko Ware, Norvell Austin, Stan and Steve. Stan and Steve, a rough and tumble team, but they have got a great sense of humor. Steve back over the top. Norm and Koko going, he was going to send Steve for a ride. Steve held up and stomped him right in the face. Look at that big smile on Steve's face. He loves that. I told you, they got a great sense of humor. But man, they will hurt you every way you can be. What a move!
We go back to Memphis and we've got Jerry Lawler and Austin Idol going against the Road Warriors. The Road Warriors, rookies in the business, so you'll get to see them when they first made their national name.
But the Road Warriors were still young and powerful and raw, and they were hungry. And huge 300-pounders going up against the team of Jerry the King Lawler and his partner, the Universal Heartthrob, Austin Idol. Lawler and Idol had not gotten along as partners quite a bit of their careers. Could they coexist as a team to take on possibly their most formidable challenge in the Road Warriors?
National Tag Team Championship battle. The infamous Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk. Animal in the ring right now. At ringside, their manager, Paul Ellering, called Precious Paul, as he stalks around. Lawler starting it out, and right away he's caught. Look at this. That's 234 pounds. He pressed as if it were nothing. Does that tell you how strong these guys are? Woo. The King hit the deck hard. And these savage Road Warriors loving the kind of combat that says, let me at them. And a tag from the Road Warriors. The Hawk comes in. That weird war paint they have on their face. Knee to Lawler's midsection. Big elbow. Straight in the air. Lawler pressed up again. Pounded down. The muscular development on these two guys, the Road Warriors, incredible. Jerry shaking up hard as he has been bounced viciously off that mat twice. But the King, a tough son of a gun, slamming with that right hand, and Hawk says, oh yeah? Wrestled the Road Warriors for these titles in Cleveland, Ohio. They came the closest at that point to winning it when the Road Warriors were not sure they would be carrying the titles out. They're showing Gaindom a rematch for the national titles. Lawler, 234 pounds, and he looks to a degree dwarfed by either one of the Road Warriors. Big, vicious forearm. Whoa, Lawler caught him right in the chin. The King, using his head and foot, slams in with an elbow. Beautiful move. sitting on the bottom rope. Jerry receiving it. He snout. Flush on the button. Lawler tags Idol. And the Road Warriors slam together. Austin bangs down with a big body slam. Going for the Las Vegas leg lock, it looks like. Drops with a knee. He didn't go for it. Animal with Lawler over his shoulder. Slams him into the turnbuckle. Referee trying to break that fight up. Lawler's covered. 1, 2. And he throws both of them off. I don't believe it. This incredible dynamo of power. Ellering knocked down. All 4 of them in the ring. Ellering up on the ring apron. Lawler and Idol both with a pin. Ellering holding the referee 1. But they kick out for the ref can count. Still, they've got all 4 in. Whoa, the Animal hits Hawk. Ellering in the ring. Lawler got a 2 count before Animal dropped on his back. Should be a disqualification as Ellering is in the ring. The referee thrown out. That's going to be it. Oh, boy. That's all. Forget the titles. Gotta be a disqualification. Jerry Calhoun down, hit his spine, hurt his knee. Idol pounding Ellering. Paul Morton out. The other referee, he says ring the bell. Disqualification against the Road Warriors. Lawler and Idol will lose their chance because of the disqualification. They'll win the match.
Next match is from the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. It's Randy Savage, a young Randy Savage, and Jerry Lawler. These two had one of the most interesting feuds because the background was something that started outside the ring.
Well, as a matter of fact, Jerry the King Lawler had been the king of Memphis for 10 years at this point, had been enduring challenges from Randy Savage and his own wrestling promotion for the previous 5 years. The two had not only never met in the ring, but had never even worked for the same company. Finally, when the promotional war was settled, the war in the ring had yet to begin.
The bell has sounded, and boy, what an anticipation for this one. The King and Macho Man, Randy Savage, inside the cage, and they're tying it up with a Southern Heavyweight crown. Savage, whoa, taking some shots from Lawler. Puts him down on a canvas. And the only other meeting in history that these two have had, Savage poured it on Lawler, Lawler poured it right back. And when Jerry got Randy Savage in a position, it looked like he was all through. Savage's father, Angelo Popo, jumped in the ring. And a disqualification. Wait a minute, Savage going up to the top of the ring post. Lawler saying, hey, don't run off. I want you right here in the ring. Lawler unloaded some shots on him. Referee Jerry Calhoun intercepts the King's bid to go over and hit Savage. Savage, quite an athlete. Ooh, he spit all over Lawler. And here comes the King after him. Savage, standing side headlock, zings him over the shoulder. Jerry lost his cool, and as he got into Savage, Macho Man wrapped him up, nailed him hard, side headlocked him, and now reverse face lock on him. I don't know whether he's got his bone down there on that sleeper side or not. It's hard to tell. Referee Jerry Calhoun checking in there. Certainly he would see it if it were an illegal choke. Lawler hooks the leg. Savage kicking it, trying to get away from it. This is going to be some kind of double rough, my friend. It has yet to begin. The time has started. The bell has sounded. But knowing these two wrestlers and what they feel for each other, you are going to see fireworks and a half. Woo! And Lawler fires Savage in to the two main side supports on this side. Savage hit those 2x4s, bounced off and hit that concrete floor, fell off on his back. And he's in the corner trying to get back up in the ring. The side he is down on, not all sides have any slack in them. For instance, the side closest to the timer's table is right next to the ring. Referee checking him out at Lawler's request. And Savage opened the hands, nothing there. Jerry stunned him with that move. Strong arm bar from Savage. Now he grabs the hair. We can see it. He did it away from referee Jerry Calhoun. He's got him barred just below the elbow. That's painful. You can do that when you've got a man on a canvas because he's not as likely to be able to move out of the way. Lawler drops a foot over the rope, and that's going to call for a break, but Savage won't allow it. He pulls him off the ropes out to the center of the ring. Lawler now turns the wrist over. I couldn't see it. I see Savage going to the tights. Lawler grabs his eyes, and he was screaming. I don't know what he had. Referee checks his hands, but he obviously is rid of whatever it was by this moment. We're at the 7-minute mark. Lawler and Savage. Lawler in the corner again. Going after Lawler's eyes. Referee broke it up. Randy puts him on the deck. 1, 2. Lawler's foot is up on the rope. 2 count only. Savage furious. He jerks Lawler up, and the referee says, "No, sir, you didn't break the hold." Ooh. Stomp Lawler hard right in the chest. Lawler trying to block the suplex. Savage nails him. And Lawler knocked over on the apron. And he is off on the concrete floor. Watch out. Savage goes up to the top turnbuckle. Drops down right on Lawler's back. Whoop. He was on top of that ring post. Dropped outside the ropes. And again, Macho Man going for the throat of the eyes. Only only the people right over there in front of it can tell what we are blocked in the view from it. Lawler draped over the bottom rope. Savage hanging on. Now he kicks the King back down in between the cage and the floor and slams his face. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's why they call it the most dangerous match in wrestling. Savage again, risking the count of the referee. He started to hit him, and that was going to be all there was to that. Lawler trying to get away, but Savage catches up to him and bounces his head off the ring post. There's the 10-minute call with 50 minutes to wrestle. Lawler in trouble as Savage has pulled out all the stops on the King. You could hear the response from the crowd as Savage wailed him with a right hand. Foot to the midsection. By Lawler around and snapped into the side of the ring. Savage in a brutal bout. Look at Lawler's got whatever it was that Savage had. He's going after him. Lawler in payback. The referee comes over and Calhoun's telling Lawler, watch it, disqualification, but Savage right back again. Tough son of a gun. He's going up on top of that cage. I don't believe it. He is way up in the air. The Macho Man is said to be crazy. I believe it now. Comes off the top of that cage. Down in the center of that ring. Moved out of the way, and the height was such that the Macho Man stunned himself, and here comes the King. Lawler rolled out of the way. Savage hits both of the ropes, flipped back on his head. And Lawler going with a pile driver, and the referee's going to stop him. Lawler, despite the warning of the official, he's trying to pay Savage back all at once. Up in the air, and there goes Lawler, dumped over. And Savage falls on the ropes. Savage, fireman carry throw, picks him up on the shoulders, airplane spin. He continues it. Savage staggering. And as Lawler swings at him, they both go down. Who's got to be burning up an awful lot of energy himself. Dumps Lawler down inside the cage. And the referee kind of pulled him. Savage didn't get his full jump on Lawler, but put him down to a knee and follows it up as he is right on top of Jerry Lawler. Slammed his head into that side of that cage. Can you imagine what both of these guys will feel like tomorrow? I can't believe they've been able to go 20 minutes in that cage. Crowd getting behind Lawler, trying to get him steamed up. Lawler blocking Savage's effort, catches him in the midsection, slams Randy into the side of the ring, and here's Lawler back in the ring, going after Macho Man. Lawler heaves him over the side. He hits the cage. Here comes Big Joe LeDuc. LeDuc is climbing right over the top of that cage. I can't believe that. LeDuc in the air above Lawler. It's going to be a disqualification as LeDuc brings it about 20 minutes and 50 seconds. But now LeDuc and Savage have Lawler inside that cage. Minutes, 50 seconds. Joe LeDuc, we've told you how agile this guy is for a big man. Climbed right up over the top of that cage. Can't believe it. Dropped down from the top turnbuckle. Now he and Savage are pounding Lawler and the referee. Lawler wins it, but oh, well, he regret this one. Calhoun thrown over the top rope, dropped out into the concrete floor. LeDuc puts Lawler down on the deck. Here comes Savage. Drops with an elbow. They've got to get that door open and get some help in there for Lawler. While Savage holds him, LeDuc drops down with a big leg. Eddie Marlin, Jim Jamison, Dutch Mantell, Art Cruz, all coming out here. Eddie's got the key to the lock on the cage. They can't get the lock undone, and meanwhile, Savage and LeDuc just beating the stew out of Lawler. There goes Dutch in there. Jim Jamison. Savage gets away. Jamison and Dutch trying to get LeDuc out. Art Cruz helping Lawler. And referee Jerry Calhoun with a leg injured. Well, the winner in 2050, the King by disqualification, but boy, oh boy, he paid the price in it. Still the Southern Heavyweight champ, Jerry Lawler.
We go from Memphis to Shreveport, Louisiana, where we've got the Mid-South Tag Team Championship. We've got the Wild Samoans, Afa and Sika, and their manager, the legendary Ernie the Big Cat Ladd, going against Ted DiBiase and the former Olympian Bob Roop.
Well, DiBiase and Roop at the time, two of the most popular individuals in Mid-South wrestling. However, Afa and Sika, the Samoans, with the manager Ernie Ladd at ringside, Ernie Ladd, a former NFL great, were definitely dangerous opponents. Who would come out on top for the Mid-South Tag Team Championship?
And now a title match for the Mid-South Tag Team Championships. This event is for one fall or remaining television time. In the red corner, at a total combined weight of 608 pounds, the team managed by Big Ernie Ladd, Afa and Sika, the Samoans. And in the blue corner, at 248 pounds from Omaha, Nebraska, former North American heavyweight champion Ted DiBiase. And his partner at 250 pounds from Blacksburg, Virginia, the Louisiana heavyweight champion Bob Roop.
This is a sanctioned championship match for the Mid-South Tag Team titles. The champions, Alpha and Sika, the Samoan Warriors, and of course their financial advisor in the ring now, the Big Cat Ernie Ladd, against the challengers for the title, Bob Roop and Ted DiBiase. Bill, should be a wild title match right here on Mid-South Television.
Well, again, I got to congratulate Grizzly Smith. You know, he gives the people at home the best right here on television. I guess that's why Mid-South Wrestling is #1 in this time segment in every market that it plays. And this is a great bout. There are several standby matches in case this goes the television time limit. But these guys realize that, you know, in an arena, the time limit would be an hour. On television, you don't have about another 30 or 40 minutes. They know they got to make it happen. They got to get out there and put it together. So they'll be taking a lot more chances. A lot of pride at stake. Ted DiBiase, youngster, great athlete. Of course, you just heard the pressure been put on him. Paul Orndorff has offered a bonus, spelled the same as B-O-U-N-T-Y, I guess, for the man that can injure Ted DiBiase. And I'm sure these Samoans have got that translated to them real crystal clear by Ernie Ladd, as mercenary as he is. And Bob Roop, the Louisiana champion out there. So I know Ernie Ladd would like to see Bob Roop slowing down a little bit, because Ernie Ladd seems to use these Samoans to further his own personal interests. Tremendous move by Roop there. Mike George against Crazy Lou Graham will be the first standby match. Vinny Romero against the Great Kabuki. Then Kerry Von Erich and Jim Garvin against Carl Fergie and Jake Savage. And Bill Irwin and Ken Mantell. These are just some of the great matches scheduled. Good drop kick. You know, DiBiase's got that tremendous range and that fluid motion. He's about 250 pounds. He told me today that he's back up. He's regained his weight since his injuries and stuff in Atlanta. And he really feels back in the prime of his wrestling career. Of course, again, I've got to just look at Orndorff twist the truth. He said he became the #1 contender for the North American title and patiently waited in line until he got a title match. And Boyd Pierce, we saw him right here on Mid-South Wrestling not only force the title issue, but then when he didn't show up and somebody else won the title, attack the man that did it. The Samoans, they're awesome. They're already being nicknamed by the wrestlers as the Animals because they are awesome and they're so basic. Samoan warriors, and they take it to you. They're both over 300 pounds. They can move. They're going to work. They're trying to soften DiBiase up. DiBiase blocks the one shot and answers with one. Alpha and Sika. Crowd chanting for Ted to go. They're getting Ted over in the corner and isolating him. If they can isolate him from Bob Roop and not let him get out and make the tag. They got 4 seconds to one man to get out. That's that teamwork. The brothers have been together. They've been together for years. 13 years they've been wrestling together. So they've got every angle where they can capitalize on it. In 4-second count, they can do a lot of damage to a man. They holler at each other in Samoan in the ring, so nobody can pick up their signals. Bob Roop, champion of the bit, wanting to get in there. DiBiase in a lot of trouble. But I've seen DiBiase in trouble a lot of times, and he seems to have that inner reserve of strength and courage where he always manages to fire back and take it to him. Let's face it, when your father was critically injured and died wrestling in the ring, for a young man to want to follow in those footsteps and to become a superstar like his father was, that takes a lot of guts and courage right there. And went for the flying headbutt. DiBiase gets out of the way, Boyd. Tag is made to Bob Roop. He got out of there. That's a key thing. Roop, the fresh man, can come in. Roop carrying the battle. Roop fighting them both. He's going for the shoulder breaker. Ernie Ladd getting up. DiBiase stopping Ernie Ladd, makes the save. Roop's got command of the shoulder breaker. And the referee's distracted, doesn't see the other Samoan come off the top rope and wipe out Bob Roop. Bob Roop's in a lot of trouble. Ernie Ladd used that distraction to draw DiBiase while he was drawing the other Samoan warrior. Helped his brother out. Bob Roop's in a lot of trouble. The man came off with the 300 pounds off that top rope. Bob Roop trying to go for the tag, but he hadn't gotten there, and the other Samoans tagged. And there's the fresh man in on Bob Roop, and he's in a lot of trouble, Boyd Pierce.
Now you see the Samoan standing between Bob Roop and the outstretched hands of Ted DiBiase.
That's right, and that's where you find the financial advisor becomes an integral part of the team and actually adds one more member to it, because Ernie Ladd flat distracted the referee and drew Ted DiBiase to let his man save the other and injure Bob Roop. Bob Roop had that match wrapped up with that shoulder breaker right there. They would have had new Mid-South Tag Champions. Bob Roop trying to drive him into Ted DiBiase's corner, trying to get into that tag. He's hurt. He knows he's got to tag DiBiase. But the big Samoan, there's Roop making a tag. DiBiase's in. The referee didn't see the tag. The referee didn't see the tag. They're going.
He did not see the tag.
They're going for the double clothesline. Now, Ted DiBiase just said to heck with it. He drags Jack Howe out. Jack Howe's down. DiBiase's pulling Ernie Ladd in, but it allowed Bob Roop to get up. And Bob Roop's going for the shoulder breaker right there. DiBiase's got Ladd out of the way. Bob Roop's going for the shoulder breaker. Referee counting the fall. 1, 2, 3. Looks like we got new Mid-South Tag Team Champions. New Mid-South Tag Champions. Jack Howe. Bob Roop's holding it. It's signifying they've won. But Jack Howe hit a 3 count, but he's saying no now. Bob Roop's grabbed the titles, giving one DiBiase and holding him up. But Jack Howe saying no, Boyd Pierce.
Bill, let me try to find out what the official decision from Jack Howe, if we can get his attention. Jack. What's the decision?
To make this plain here, what's happened is, while there was a 3 count, Ernie Ladd was in the ring as usual, interfering. And as a disqualification, the belts remain in the same possession.
So they're still the champion. So there you have it. Disqualification call, so that means that Hop and Sika, Bill, are still the Mid-South Tag Team Champions.
We go back to 1973 in Indianapolis, Indiana. 2 of the biggest names in the history of wrestling, Bruno Sammartino and Dick the Bruiser, forming a tag team against the formidable team of Baron von Raschke and Big Ernie Ladd.
Well, Ernie Ladd is 6'9", 325 pounds, a veteran of the National Football League, and Baron von Raschke, one of the biggest names in the history of the business, teamed together with their manager, beautiful Bobby Heenan, to try to stop the raging freight train that was former Worldwide Wrestling Federation champion Bruno Sammartino and the world's most dangerous wrestler, Dick the Bruiser, in one of the few times that the Bruiser and Bruno ever teamed together.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tom Mathis at ringside while Sam Miniker is refereeing in the ring. The action has started already. Sam is going to have his hands full, that is for sure. 4 of the largest, toughest, roughest, strongest wrestlers in the world are in that ring. Legally only 2 at a time. The Bruiser and the Baron leading off. What an exciting match this is already. Side headlock on the Baron by the Bruiser. Body block. Bruiser taking over completely in the first fall of the match. Here comes Dick the Bruiser right down on the solar plexus of Baron von Raschke. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a best 2 out of 3 falls match to a curfew. The curfew, of course, being the end of our television broadcast. Sam is being pushed around by Ernie Big Cat Ladd right now. That's something he's not going to stand for. Those are pouring it on. This is a rough kind of a match to referee. Sam Miniker has his hands full tonight. There is no way one man can watch 4 wrestlers and a manager. Ernie Ladd trying to get bad with Sam. It's Bruno and Ernie Ladd. Bruno Sammartino, one of the world's strongest wrestlers, pouring it on Big Ernie Ladd. There's a pin. Wasn't effective. Ladd's leg was outside of the ropes. That is out of the ropes. On our table. Sammartino and Dick the Bruiser in the ring. Their opponents outside the ring. Bruno pouring it on Big Ernie Ladd right now. Bruno trying for a pin. Ernie Ladd's leg again outside the rope. The pin cannot take place. Bruno may be in a little bit of trouble now. Oh, there's a vicious chop by Baron von Raschke. Sammartino moves out of the way. That'll teach the Baron. Dick the Bruiser coming back into the ring. The Bruiser is excited. The Bruiser's going wild. Big Cat Ladd in the ring now. The Bruiser's handling him. Looks like all the action's going to be outside of the ropes. A headbutt between Ladd and von Raschke. Bruiser and Sammartino at this moment in control of the match. Bruno is after Heenan. Heenan has no intention of being caught. Who could blame him? There's a try for a pin by the Bruiser, and Heenan illegally comes into the ring. A backdrop by the Bruiser on von Raschke. Here's the pin. Pin Baron von Raschke in the first fall, everybody. Baron von Raschke is really angry over that decision. He's protesting. There's nothing he can do. The referee is in charge.
We go next to a really interesting match from San Antonio, Texas, because we have 2 men who were teammates at West Texas State University playing college football. Tully Blanchard and Manny Fernandez, who also didn't like each other outside of the wrestling ring.
Well, they were polar opposites. Manny Fernandez, a lineman. Tully Blanchard, a quarterback. Tully Blanchard, born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Manny Fernandez, a blue-collar worker who worked his way up through the ranks. And I think that you'll see in this match, their dislike for each other extends to the professional wrestling ring as well.
Half of that World Heavyweight Tag Team Championship team, Tully Blanchard against, hey, Manny Fernandez, who's no lightweight himself.
Gene, I'll seriously tell you right here are 2 of the very best wrestlers in the profession today. This could be a main event in Madison Square Garden, any place in the world. And the winner of this match is going to prove a heck of a lot to me. I think this is going to be one of the most exciting, one of the most daring matches I've ever seen. Of course, like you said, Tully is one half the World Tag Team Champion. But I will say this, I have never known Gino Hernandez to interfere in any of Tully's matching. So I'm looking for a good, hard, tough match to come up here.
Well, Larry, I have known him to interfere in some of Tully's matches, but at any rate, they're nose to nose. Toes to toes, an elbow slap on the ears, and I'm going to tell you right now, that has got to get your attention. Blanchard, and Fernandez. Kaboom! Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a stand-up double in any man's league. Fernandez off the top of the pumpkin head of Tully Blanchard. Tully's tough, but that's tough to take, Larry.
Oh, that's true. But you know, they kind of started out slugging, but I think they're going to end up wrestling. Because every good wrestler knows that the best weapon you have is wrestling. So look at Manny Fernandez. Turn that leg lock right into a single grapevine. He's right on top of Tully. He's putting the pressure on. That is one of the outstanding amateur moves there is. That's one thing that makes Manny Fernandez so tough, is that he has an amateur background. He has Tully tied up. If it wasn't for the ropes, you know, Tully could be in for a long, long time out there trying to fight all that. But look at Tully. Jerked him out of the rope, but look at that. Manny Fernandez came right up here. But Tully's no idiot. These are two fine conditioned athletes right here. This is going to be a lot of excitement, James. This thing could go either way, I'll tell you for sure.
2X fine football players, and they have maintained their conditioning, their athletic ability. And I'm going to tell you one thing. These men, I got to agree with you. Let's top wrist lock. Fernandez takes him down. Let me take this opportunity to remind you that pictures and articles of these two men and all our wrestlers and athletes are available from Southwest Championship Wrestling Magazine. I'm convinced the finest wrestling publication in the country, and it's available from Southwest Championship Wrestling Magazine, P.O. Box 705, Boerne, that's B-O-E-R-N-E, Boerne, Texas, zip it 78006. 7.5 for 6 months, only 12.5 for the whole year. To keep up to date on what's going on with these men, these fantastic athletes, and I'm going to tell you, when you do this day in, day out, week after week, you got, oh, I'm talking body slam. Oh, elbow drop. Blanchard misses. Hip toss. Manny Fernandez. I'm telling you, Blanchard's got his hands full, Larry.
That's true. I say, though, Tully came out there with two good moves. Reached right in there, gave him that big slam. Came right up, went for an elbow and missed it. And Manny Fernandez right back on him. Boy, this could be a match of whoever makes the fewest mistakes will win it. Again, two of the finest athletes we've got. Look at Manny Fernandez. He's locked in. He's got a top wrist lock on that arm, laying down with it. He's going to turn it into a crowbar, and he's going to punish that arm. He's going to work on that arm. Look at Tully, though. He's mounting his own offense. He's going for the leg. He'd like to stand right up with that leg and lift that leg above, but Manny's got a little bit too much pressure. Look at him, step right through, scissored that leg, but Manny's hanging right on that arm. That's a good sign of a good wrestler right there. Just stay with that arm, work that arm down. And if he can get that arm weak enough, he'll be in good position to win this match. I know, oh, look at that. That Manny got more weapons in his arsenal than any man I've seen. Come right back with a leg. He's got an arm softened up. He's got a leg softened up. He's got Tully back against the rope. This has turned into an exciting match. But look at Tully, can never count him out. Coming right back, throws that wicked elbow, come right back to the gut, give him two good shots. Gene, this is one fine wrestling match, I'll tell you.
You're right about that, Larry. You know, a lot of these men, Larry, I need to ask you something very quick as these men go hammer and tong at it in the ring. A lot of these men were pro baseball players, pro football players, excellent athletes. At this point, that's one-on-one in the ring. Do you think they can take a great deal of pride in not in the team sport, but in the fact that they excel as an individual?
Oh, that's very important because you know there's no one out there to help you but yourself. Right now, both these guys are over the top. Here comes, I can't believe that. He rounded up a belt and he hit him over the head. I cannot believe that Gino would do that. He got ahead and got Tully disqualified. Look at him, they're holding him down, they're hitting him. I'm not so sure, but what Manny hasn't got this coming. I'm sure that he's getting his just dues, but they've got him split open and they're beating the hell out of him. I've never seen anything like it. Again, Manny might have had this coming, but I would like to see that wrestling match continue. I'd like to see which one of those two guys is better. Oh, they're working. Look at him, Gene. They've got him bleeding. They're kicking the living daylights out of him. They're kicking the dog out of that man. No man deserves that, no matter what he's done.
This is the most horrible display of sportsmanship I've ever seen in my life. Here's Brother Hernandez, who never interferes in Blanchard matches. And they've got the referee on the floor. They are about to knuckle Fernandez to death. Here comes Chavo Guerrero. He's in the ring, and he's got Blanchard. Blanchard. Oh, now Guerrero goes after Gino Hernandez. He's trying to put off the cowboy move. He's got Hernandez. He's got Blanchard. He's got Hernandez. Now Fernandez is up. Oh! Fernandez face a bloody mess. Meanwhile, Chavo is about to beat Hernandez to death. He's kicking him. He's beating him with a boot. And they retreat to the dressing room, which is a very good place for them. The winner is Manny Fernandez, as of course he should be.
The late ravishing Rick Rude went on to become one of the great performers in all of professional wrestling. The match that we're going to show next was very early in his career. He'd only been wrestling for about 1 year. He went to Memphis, Tennessee. His first big singles program as a headliner was against Jerry the King Lawler.
I think you'll see why this match from the Memphis Mid-South Coliseum in 1984 shows that Rick Rude, barely a year and a half into his professional career, shows the poise and the maturity that he would show later on when he became one of the true superstars of the game as he faces the King in Memphis.
Angel pulling the leg of Lawler while Rude attacks him from the front, blasts him down. Now he is really bombing it, Jerry. Remember, the Southern heavyweight belt is at stake. I'm certain that Lawler has not forgotten that. Whoa, good night. Rude really bounced him off, and Lawler came out of it, but he didn't come out of it all that hard, and Rude puts him back down again. I haven't really taken the efforts of this brash young man out of California too seriously, but I'm here to tell. Now there you got to look out for Neidhart over-pounding on Lawler while the referee is distracted by Rude, and they're arguing where the referee's back to the ropes where Neidhart and Angel took over, and then they break it up when the referee turns around, and Lawler down again. Big elbow. Rude covers 1, 2. Jerry kicks. Right shoulder is up. Right at the 14-minute mark, a little shy of it, as Rude slams Lawler's head down into the canvas. Reverse neck breaker. Well, Rude is showing he has got pretty good working knowledge of the basics. 1, 2, and a foot goes over the rope. As Lawler saved the effort of kicking out of it. Now Rude takes it off. That doesn't show too much gray matter up there, as Lawler has accused Rude of being all body and no brain. Took his foot off, and Lawler just waited till the count, resting, taking advantage of it, popped it right up on the rope again. This time, Jerry kicks out. Rude definitely with a point of the elbow. Right in the back of the neck of Lawler. Lawler's leg is already over the rope, so there won't even be a count. The referee telling him that. There's the 15-minute call, 45 to go, and Rick Rude making a rather surprising attack on the King. Rude blasting away, and Lawler comes that strap. And Lawler comes back at him. Look out. Here comes Lawler. ardent desire of Lawler's to keep that belt. A lot of guys have had him down, but not many of them have been able to keep him down. Oh, and Rude slams Lawler into the referee. Lawler hit his head with Calhoun. Lawler covers Rude as he rolled out of the way, causing Rude to miss. The referee still down. Here comes Neidhart. Lawler jumps out of the way. Neidhart nails Rude rather than Lawler. And Rude firing across the ring and Lawler's back. Angel comes in the ring. Lawler better look out. His attention is distracted. Rude, bang, nails him right on top of the head. He covers up Lawler. Neidhart gets the referee around. 1, 2, 3, and Lawler has lost the Southern Heavyweight title. 1, 2, 3. And Rick Rude is declared the winner with the help of Neidhart and Angel. The new Southern Heavyweight champion is Rick Rude. I can't believe it. But Lawler's shoulder indeed counted. 1, 2, 3. And Rude has the belt. Oh, Lawler cracked Neidhart and Rude, but that isn't going to help him get the belt back. Here comes Angel with a chair. And Angel blasts Lawler with that chair, and he doesn't move. Boy, he knocked her flat. Can't say to blame him. Here comes Rude. Here comes Neidhart. Angel laying on the ring apron. Neidhart is holding. Rude pitching. Lawler's already lost the belt. Here comes Tommy Rich, Eddie Gilbert. Here comes Coco. Norvell. Coco hitting Lawler with a chair, and Norvell coming after him. Eddie Gilbert and Rude. Angel up off the ring apron, gets her out of the line of fire. Here comes Tommy Rich. Rich going after Neidhart. Rude picks Angel up. Gilbert and Rich going after Neidhart, while Coco and Norvell working on Lawler. Rich and Gilbert back. They got chairs. And with that, the PYT Express leaves the ring.
We go back to the childhood of Jim Cornette for this next match. It was one of the classic matches, legendary matches of that time period. Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher, of course, were the top tag team perhaps in the world at that point in time, and their big rivals were Blackjack Mulligan and Blackjack Lanza, but this match had an interesting twist. Lanza and Mulligan had as their partner their regular manager Bobby Heenan, and you'll see in this match why Bobby Heenan is one of the great performers in wrestling at that point in time. And Bruiser and Crusher had a real interesting partner, the Little Bruiser, a midget wrestler.
Well, Bruiser and Crusher figured the only way to get even with a guy like Bobby Heenan was to humiliate him, to embarrass him, to make him look like a fool. So that's exactly what they did. Bruiser and Crusher knew they could beat the Blackjacks, but they also knew that their friend, the little 3'7", 98-pound Little Bruiser, could take care of Bobby the Brain Heenan. And as it turns out, that's exactly what happened.
And this will be a wild match, I promise you that. Dick the Bruiser assures us that Little Bruiser is a tiny tornado. There's Little Bruiser challenging Heenan right now. The bell rings, we're ready to go. Little Bruiser wants to start the action against Heenan. Oh! A drop kick. Heenan gets out of the ring in a hurry. Dick the Bruiser's in there now. And when Heenan sees him, he immediately tags Mulligan. Blackjack Mulligan in there against the world's most dangerous wrestler, Dick the Bruiser. The Bruiser grabs him, has him up against the ropes. Oh, he throws a hard smash. And another one right to the chin. Mulligan comes back. Both men exchanging punches. The Bruiser tags Little Bruiser. Now watch this. Oh! Little Bruiser punching Mulligan. Crusher's holding Mulligan. Flying mare. And Dick the Bruiser with a head twister on Mulligan. A kick to the back. Dick the Bruiser with a chin twister on Blackjack Mulligan. He crashes Mulligan's head into the turnbuckle. In comes Little Bruiser. Works on Mulligan. Pretty boy Bobby Heenan has to get back to the corner. There's Dick. He stands on Mulligan's right hand and he's twisting that left wrist. And here in the opening minutes of the match, Blackjack Mulligan is in a lot of trouble. Lanza gets in there. Crusher sends him out in a hurry. The referee's warning Little Bruiser, telling him not to get in there. Into the ropes. A tremendous knee lift by Bruiser. He covers Mulligan, but Heenan got in, kicked Bruiser in the head, broke up the pin. It's a one-fall match with a 60-minute time limit. A tremendous six-man tag team match. Another knee lift. Again, he covers him. This time Lanza breaking it up. Here comes the Crusher on the tag. The Crusher and Lanza. Lanza, there he goes, reaching for some object in his trunks. They tie into one another. Crusher forces Lanza back against the ropes. There's a side headlock by the Crusher. Little Bruiser, every once in a while, reaches through and punches the opposing wrestlers. It's the Crusher with a side headlock. They're wrapping the tag team rope around the Crusher's throat. Dick the Bruiser to the rescue. He grabs Mulligan, punches him, sends him to the floor. Now Dick's going after Pretty Boy Bobby Heenan. The little Bruiser eludes him. Heenan jumped out of the ring when he saw Bruiser waiting for him. Crusher's caught in the corner. Oh, man. The little Bruiser bit Heenan and broke that hold up. And here's Crusher kicking Heenan. Now the Bruiser has it. A kick to the midsection by the Crusher. Here comes little Bruiser working on Bobby Heenan. Dick punches Mulligan, who goes to the outside. And that little Bruiser's a tough man. Mulligan punched little Bruiser. Crusher takes over on Pretty Boy Bobby Heenan. What a terrific six-man tag team match this is. As Blackjack reaching now. He usually removes a piece of metal and slips it in his glove. They're in the corner. Lanza. Well, Lanza couldn't do much because the Crusher took over. And the Crusher stopped him with two thumbs right to the eyes. Watch Dick the Bruiser take over. There it goes again. Comes to the eyes. And Lanza trying to find his corner. Here's Dick the Bruiser. Watch this now. A punch right to the head. And Dick the Bruiser with a head twister. And Lanza in trouble. But he's tough. Into the ropes. There's that big knee lift to the midsection. Lanza's on the mat. Dick the Bruiser standing over him. And Dick grabs that leg. That's that leg that was recently damaged. Heenan broke that up. Now it's Mulligan punching Dick the Bruiser, but the Crusher grabs him. Lanza punching the Bruiser to the throat. Here's Heenan. Heenan and Lanza choking Dick the Bruiser. The Crusher smashed their heads together. And he saved the Bruiser. Again a chokehold. And punches to the throat by Blackjack Lanza. And Dick the Bruiser's up. Boy, this man is tough. Look at Dick the Bruiser. What terrific recuperative powers this man has. They're both punching the Bruiser. He stands up there like a sturdy oak tree. Look at him go. Watch Dick the Bruiser. Lanza grabs him. Mulligan. Oh! Dick ducked down. And Mulligan punched Lanza. What terrific action in this great six-man tag team match. Into the ropes. That big backdrop by Dick the Bruiser. The Bruiser takes over on Pretty Boy Bobby Heenan. Sends him right through the ropes. He hits on a table. He's out on the floor. Mulligan, Lanza and the Bruiser fighting on the outside. The Bruiser threw Lanza in there. Here's Mulligan attacking the Bruiser. Whoa, man. What a fight here on the outside of the ring. Dick the Bruiser takes over on Lanza. They crash Mulligan. and Lanza's heads together. Pretty boy Bobby Heenan is out. The Crusher takes over on Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan's head is badly cut. He throws Lanza into the rope. A big backdrop by the Crusher. He's got him covered. He just about had him pinned, but Lanza managed to get away. Lanza with a big cut on his head. And Heenan bleeding. Oh man, that blood is just gushing out. What a terrific six-man tag team match this is. What action here. Crusher working on Lanza. And Dick the Bruiser has Mulligan. And they smashed them together. Boy, like two express trains colliding. Now it's Bobby Heenan. Heenan is punched to the mat by Dick the Bruiser. Little Bruiser hanging on to Heenan. And all three of them are thrown together. Man, what a terrific tag team match this is. Now look at this great team of Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher. Now Little Bruiser on top of the ropes. And they've got Mulligan and Little Bruiser thrown right on top. Mulligan, he had him pinned, but it was broken up. Again, now it's Big Blackjack Lanza. And watch this. Crusher grabs Little Bruiser, throws him on top of Lanza. And a 2 count, but Heenan broke it up again. Sensational, dynamic action in this big six-man tag team match. There's Little Bruiser. They punch Heenan. Heenan is just about out. Little Bruiser, 1, 2, 3. Crusher and Dick the Bruiser held him down, and Little Bruiser. Oh, wait a minute. Mulligan is attacking the midget wrestler. He crashes him to the mat, and Little Bruiser is being kicked by Mulligan. And Heenan and Lanza. Little Bruiser is hurt. Crusher working on Heenan. Now Dick the Bruiser has Heenan. He smashes him into the turnbuckles. Little Bruiser has been badly hurt. This little fellow was smashed to the mat by Mulligan. There's the doctor, the club doctor is working on Little Bruiser, and meanwhile they jumped on Crusher's leg. Crusher is having trouble with that knee. They jumped on his knee trying to break it.